Okay, so it says, and the Spirit came upon Azariah the son of Obed, and he went out to meet Asa, and said unto him, Hear ye me, Asa, and all of Judah and Benjamin. Jehovah is with you while you be with him. If ye seek him, he will be found of you. That's why in the Christian scriptures we read of prayer and fasting. That's seeking God. Seeking his approval, his love, his light, his forgiveness. You know, and when you sin, you should pray and fast about it until God gives you the answer and tells you what to do and how to relieve that and to become back into his favor. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. That's how it is, man. And that means death, God forsaking you. That means your death. Now, for a long season, Israel had been without God, the true God, and without a teaching priest, and without law. Israel, these are the 10 tribes. But when they in their trouble did turn to Jehovah, God of Israel, and sought him, he was found of them. See how it is? It's really clear here what we're dealing with. You're dealing with God. He hates wickedness, and you have to turn to him with all your heart, with fasting and prayer and fear and trembling, that he forgives you, that you have his favor. That's the thing. Because no matter who you are, we can all fall out of his favor. So you need to turn to him all the time to have his favor. That means everything, his favor. That means everything. People are looking for money and this and that. That's everything God's favor. I'll tell you that. And in those times there was no peace to him that went out. This is in Israel, because they had forsaken God. In those times there was no peace to him that went out, nor to him that came in. They had no peace. But great vexations were upon all the inhabitants of the countries. And nation was destroyed of nation, city of city, for God did vex them with all adversities. You see? That's the consequences of not being with God. Nothing but trouble. Be ye strong, therefore, let not your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. And when Asa heard these words and the prophecy of Obed the prophet, he took courage and put away the abominable idols out of the land of Judah and Benjamin, and out of the cities which he had taken from Mount Ephraim. And he renewed the altar of Jehovah that was before the porch of the Lord. See, that's in Jerusalem. And he gathered all Judah and Benjamin and the strangers that went out of Ephraim and Manasseh and Simeon. See? For they fell to him out of Israel in abundance when they saw that Jehovah, his God, was with him. So they gathered themselves together at Jerusalem in the 3rd month, in the 15th year of the reign of Asa. And they made many offerings unto him. And they made a covenant with God to seek him. And Asa said, whoever will not, in verse 13, verse 13 of chapter 15, that whosoever would not seek Jehovah, the God of Israel, should be put to death. Whether he's small or great, whether man or woman, doesn't matter. And this is righteous. Because these rebels, they're going the way of the Satan, of the way of death and destruction. Clean them out, man. Because you want your peace in your kingdom, and you want it to prosper. And they swear unto Jehovah with a loud voice, and with shouting, with trumpets, and with cornets. And all Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart, and sought him with their whole desire. That's the important thing, with their whole heart, their whole desire. And he was found of them, and Jehovah gave them rest round about. See? And also concerning Maacah, the mother of Asa the king, he removed her from being queen. Wow, this was the daughter of Absalom, the one that Abijah loved so much, his wife. And because she had made an idol in a grove. Man, you're not queen anymore. Out. His own mother. That's how zealous he was for the law of God. And that's how zealous you have to be. And he stamped it and burnt it in the brook of Kidron. And the high places were not, but the high places were not taken out of Israel. Nevertheless, the heart of Asa was perfect all his days. And he brought into the house of God the things that his father had dedicated, and himself had dedicated the silver and the gold. and the vessels, and there was no more war unto the 35th year of the reign of King Asa. Okay. But we find out what happened to Asa, because we found out in the book of the Kings, we found out that Asa was diseased in his feet before he died, but it didn't say why. But here in the chapter 16th of 2nd Chronicles, we find out why God diseased him in his feet. And this is because, you read this, chapter 16, it was because Asa sent to, there was a league between, Asa brought out silver and gold out of the treasure of the house of God and the king's house, and sent them to Ben-Hadad, king of Syria. Why? This is where you're getting out of the way. That dwelt at Damascus, saying, there's a league between me and thee, and as there was between thy father and my father. Behold, I have sent thee silver and gold. Go break thy league with Baasha, the king of Israel, that he may depart from me. They came up, and instead of seeking for God, he made a deal with the Syrians. Oh, come on and help me and break your league with them, because they were going to come up against Jerusalem, you know. So Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, he hearkened unto Asa, and he sent the captain of his armies against the cities of Israel, and smote Ijon and Dan and Abel-maim and all the store city of Naphtali. When it came to pass, when Baasha, the king of the 10 tribes of Israel, heard it, that he left off building Ramah and let his work cease, and Asa the king took all Judah and carried away the stones of Ramah and the timber thereof, which Baasha was building. He built therewith Geba and Mizpah. So anyway, at that time, verse 7, at that time, Hanani the seer came to Asa, king of Judah, and said unto him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on Jehovah your God, therefore is the host of the king of Syria escaped out of thine hand. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host, with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because thou didst rely on Jehovah, he delivered them into your hand. See? Don't you remember? When you relied upon God and not on men, that's when God gave you everything. Peace. For the eyes of Jehovah run to and fro throughout the whole earth. Everyone, you see? To show himself strong in behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him. Hereunto thou hast done foolishly. Therefore from henceforth you shall have wars. And Asa was wroth with the seer, and put him in prison house. And he was in a rage with him because of this thing. And Asa opposed some of the people at the same time, oppressed some of the people, those that spoke the truth at the same time. So Asa was out of the way. This could happen with any organization, any man. You get the wrong people in there, they lead it astray. Yeah, that's what's happened. All over the earth this goes on. And behold, the acts of Asa, they're written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And Asa, in the 39th year's reign, was diseased in his feet, until his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to Jehovah, but to the physicians. Again, men. Why didn't he seek to Jehovah? Was he afraid of him? Maybe he's afraid. Oh, God's going to punish me. I better just stay away from him. You know, God is the only one you can go to, man. He's the creator of heaven and earth, creator of you. There's no other God. You don't have a hearing with any other God. It's only him we have to come to. The true God of the Holy Bible, okay? And Asa slept with his fathers and died in the 140th year of his reign. And they fill him with spices and all that. And there was a great burning for him. And then Jehoshaphat, his son, same name but not the same king, reigned and strengthened himself against Israel. Okay, so that's basically all I wanted to mention, because it's very interesting reading this. Read the Bible. You people that have left Jehovah's Witnesses, don't give up. You need to read the Bible continually. All the wisdom is in there, you know. If you've been done wrong, well, you might have been done wrong. A lot of people have been done wrong. And if you felt you had to leave because of that, don't leave Jehovah. That would be the stupidest thing you could ever do. Because in time, God's going to clean the kingdom. God's going to clean the whole earth. And everything's going to be set straight. You know. But like I said, I don't see any other religion that has the truth that Jehovah's Witnesses teach, and that the soul is not immortal, that people are not tortured forever and ever and ever because they don't have an immortal soul. They perish, as Jesus said. But if you believe in him, you can have eternal life. But Jesus alone has immortality, according to 1 Peter. So thus far, he's the only one that's been given immortality. So there's no immortal soul, you know. They have all these basic Bible doctrines correct. And it's beautiful when you know God. Don't throw that away. And you people that have been born as Jehovah's Witnesses, don't discount what you have. You have a wonderful truth. Yeah, corruption's in there. Corruption got in there. Why? Well, who do they choose these people from? You know, it's a system that comes, it's like a good old boy network, you know, and corruption comes in. But that doesn't mean Jehovah's corrupt. He's never corrupt. He will never be corrupt. People wonder, well, how come the Masons use the word Jehovah? They have Jehovah in their books. Yeah, the Masonic doctrine all comes from the Jews. The great Grand Master Albert Pike says it all comes back to the Jewish Kabbalah. We owe all of our symbols, all of our teachings, everything to the Jewish Kabbalah. And what is the Jewish Kabbalah? It's a book of occult Pharisee writings, like the Talmud, you know, where they write that Jesus is being boiled in feces and this kind of thing. These are evil people that they came from the true worship of Jehovah and they've turned to Satan, but they still use the word Jehovah and to take his name in vain, you see. So that's where the Freemasons got Jehovah. They have the Star of David in their temples and everything else. And we pray for them too, for those Jews too, that they return to the true God, Jehovah, the maker of heaven and earth, and reject Satan and all wickedness. We pray for them too.